Hi, Dana White. I don't know if you're an American or not, so perhaps it's completely wrong for me to pose the question to ask you if you're a traitor or not. But if you are an American, then I have to ask you that question. I thoroughly enjoy MMA and UFC. I love the product you put out there. I love watching the fights. Except for all the guys whose names I can't pronounce who hang on each other's backs and do very little punching. That's boring. I don't like it. But I do enjoy the shows. I can afford to watch them. I can throw the money away and never miss it. But I can't justify the expense. And you know what? I'm too damn old and too computer illiterate and too TV button pressing illiterate to figure out how to pay for the stations, press the right buttons on the TV remote control to figure out how to turn the station on. I can't do it. I need a young kid to help me. So the only time I get to watch the UFC is when it's on ESPN or ESPN2, or maybe I get to watch a replay on FX or somewhere else. Anyhow, I love the product you put out there, and I thank you for putting it out there. But now I understand that you joined the most vicious and brutal attack on free speech in the history of the United States, which is presented to us as a private operation with a figurehead at the top who I won't name here, which I think is actually the CIA and the U.S. government or some other underhanded aspect of the U.S. government, which completely censors the free speech of anyone with an IQ over 70 who is honest and understands the Declaration of Independence. Now, as an American, which I assume you are, and I won't state it again, I'll just assume you are an American, I want to point out to you your duty under our rule of freedom, which stands above the bogus, quote, rule of law, unquote, commonly known as the Constitution, which is not a rule of law at all. Our rule of freedom is the Declaration of Independence, and that stands above all law and has stood above all deception and subversion under the word, quote, law, unquote, since July 4th of 1776. Our rule of freedom is the Declaration of Independence, Dana White. And it gave you, as one of we the people, a duty that you were born with, to do whatever you can to help unite our country against the enemy bankers who own the Federal Reserve, the enemy attorneys who work for the British Crown and the Federal Reserve, who infested our government in violation of the Declaration of Independence, against the Federal Reserve's TV networks and the rest of their media, and against every bribe-lying scumbag politician in the United States, named Democrat, Republican, or Esquire, and the extremely stupid politicians who are so damn stupid that they don't even know they're corrupt. Now, it's your job, Dana White, to help remove these people from our presence for the long train of abuses and usurpations that they have committed against us. The duty we were born with is to throw off such government and provide new gods for our future security. You're we the people, Dana White. You're the highest authority in the United States, above everything in our government, and certainly above every filthy scumbag enemy attorney from the British Crown. I'm also we the people, the highest authority in the United States on all matters. I stand above everything in our government, every public servant who works as a government employee has the highest authority. There are 300 million of us, Dana White, with exactly the same duties and in exactly the same position as the highest authorities in our country. All of us have that duty to throw off this government for the long train of abuses and usurpations that it has committed against us, to restore our long-lost freedom that was stolen from us right after we won it by 3 enemy esquires in 1783, and enemy bankers and enemy masons around the time the bogus rule of law known as the Constitution was written and George Washington became the first traitor in the United States. I don't know if you've ever thought about things like this, but you should. In your position now, whatever it is on that organization of extreme, brutal, and violent censorship against people like me who tell the truth and who have an IQ over 70, you cannot abet that brutal attack on people who want to take our freedom back. You have to help restore that freedom that was lost all those years ago, right after the people who fought the revolution won it for us. The most important words in the Declaration, besides that long train of abuses phrase, are these: that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, which everyone at the time understood what the British Crown was, but perhaps now they don't, because we've been brainwashed and that knowledge has been lost. So if you never thought about it, the British Crown is a secret society run by bankers in the City of London, the city-state, that manages the behavior of every attorney on earth and sends those attorneys out to every country on earth to do the job of destroying freedom and keeping humanity enslaved to the bankers who own all the central banks, including our Federal Reserve, which is a distinct violation of the Constitution. It cannot exist, but there it is. Because everyone in the United States has been brainwashed by the bankers' TV networks, by terrible education, by Democrats, Republicans, and attorneys everywhere in our country. And we don't know that our freedom is all gone and that we, as the highest authorities in our country, have the power to talk to each other, unite, and throw the attorneys, bankers, and politicians out of our country and the media, and take that freedom back to enjoy paradise on earth. Now, you could help do that, Dana White, but you can't do it if you're going to abet our enemies who run Facebook. No, you can't. I made a comment to you, I believe, on a Facebook page, which I think you have now, but you didn't respond. So I have to call you out along with thousands of other people and try to provoke you to talk to me about freedom. Our freedom is all gone, and 300 million of us, known as we the people, all have that duty to restore our freedom, which we can easily do, because our main enemies are only 1.3 million attorneys from the British Crown, who were all barred from practicing their deranged version of law in our country on July 4th, 1776. They can't do it. It violates freedom. Our rule of freedom is the Declaration of Independence, which stands above all bogus law that's practiced by attorneys, our enemies in the British Crown. Have you ever thought about that, Dana White? I don't know. I don't know what you have to say about much of anything except fighting. I enjoy the show. I think you could stop some of these fights a little sooner before people who are losing have their faces turned into bloody messes, and let them off a little easier. In many respects, I love the brutality, but not when someone's clearly beaten. It should be stopped. If you think about it, will you talk to me? You're a very important man, famous man, wealthy man, well on your way to becoming a trillionaire, and that's certainly your right. And you're an intelligent man, and if you can make that profit for yourself, well, go right ahead, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you can make your fighters rich too. But your fighters might not know that they lost their freedom. They're fighters. They're not intellectuals. Probably not intellectuals. Maybe some of them are. Maybe George St. Pierre is. I don't know. Maybe Chuck Liddell is. He's a hell of a great fighter. Maybe he's an intellectual too. I don't know. Maybe he just likes to fight. I used to like to fight, but I played hockey instead. Because I'm kind of shy. I get my ass kicked in a lot of fights, but I kept fighting. But hockey's a little safer. So anyhow, Dana, do your fighters want their freedom? Do they know they lost it? Will you tell them how their freedom was lost? By Congress taking bribes and selling the power to coin money to our enemies who own the Federal Reserve, so those enemies can rob us through taxes and inflation. We shouldn't be paying any taxes. Nobody should be paying any taxes, Dana White. And nobody should be censored by Facebook. People like me should be able to have my voice heard. I should have my words seen. But nobody can see my words on Facebook. First day I joined Facebook, first comment I made, they banned me. Because I told the truth about autism. I have a 28-year-old autistic son who was normal for a year. I can't say any more than that, or YouTube will delete this video. They deleted over 60 of my videos now, I think. I used to talk about autism a lot. Not anymore, only on BitChute, not on YouTube. It's a horror, to say the least. You could help with it. You're famous, you can have your voice heard. You also risk putting your life on the line because you're famous and you can have your voice heard. And I don't want you to do that. Perhaps you could talk to others. Perhaps you could help the truth be seen and heard so that Americans know that our freedom has been gone ever since we won it. And we have to take it back. That's our job. That's our duty. The duty of all 300 million of us is to unite against the bankers, attorneys, the media, and every politician in the country. Remove them and establish paradise in the United States the way it should have been. Will you help with that, Dana White? Will you respond to me? Will you send someone else to respond to me? Keep yourself safe? Maybe I'll talk about Joe Rogan. I don't know what he has to say, but he's a famous guy. I think he does a podcast or something. Maybe he gets involved in politics. I just don't know. I hear his name tossed around with people who think they should listen to Republicans, I believe. I don't listen to Democrats or Republicans. They're all liars. Anyone who votes for them is a traitor, committing treason against themselves. But they don't know it. They've never thought about it. No one ever taught them. A lot of them have low IQs and they can't figure it out. Well, I don't have a low IQ. I can figure it out. I was an Air Force captain. I know a lot of things. But I don't know how to beat protocol number 12, Dana White. I can't get my voice seen or heard. So I appeal to people like you. I don't talk to you or about you to insult you in any way. I ask you to help restore freedom in the United States. That's the job of all of us. All 300 million of us have to restore our freedom. And we have to do it right now. Because things are happening in this world that are going to keep freedom gone forever if we don't repair it right now, today. Thank you, Dana. I apologize if I said anything insensitive to you. We need your help. Thanks for watching. Please share this.